listeners! We are Legends of the Superstitions, and we have been covering the disappearance of Rose Chavez here in Apache Junction, Arizona. For those of you that are returning to us from our first episode, thank you so much for sticking with us, and we hope you keep it up. For anyone new on here, as I hope there are, welcome! You can check out our intro podcast on our page to get caught up, or for those of you that need a refresher. But otherwise, I'm Abby, here with Emily.
Hey guys!
Morgan.
Hi.
Working off that hangover like a champ.
And the always pleasant Eve.
Still the best button pusher in the whole goddamn world.
Oh, you have no idea.
So, last week we introduced you to the unsettling mystery of the disappearance of Rose Chavez, an experienced hiker who never returned home from a trip into the Superstition Mountains. As we pointed out, media attention has dwindled, and there's a family out there desperately seeking help to bring their daughter home. So, here we are to signal boost this before it becomes a tragedy. And one of the ways we thought to do that this week is to give you some cultural background on the area. Rose's disappearance is not uncommon, but there's more to this area than meets the eye.
That's right. You see, this area is steeped in history and cultural context, which we brushed on last week.
Still confused as to what this has to do with our missing girl?
Morgan brings up an excellent point, which Emily and I have prepared an answer for in case anyone out there has similar questions.
Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Rose is not the only person to be claimed by the mountain. Numerous accounts exist of experienced hikers going missing in the wilderness. So I've done some study on the history of the region to help give us some clues.
What are we, Mystery Inc. now?
You did say it yourself, but one thing I want to draw everyone's attention to is the Peralta Mine.
Why?
Excellent question. As you all know, I've started putting on my interview series where I talk to people who knew her. I talked to Jen, a fellow counselor at the camp Rose works for. She noted that she actually got into hiking because of the mountain itself and the stories surrounding it. For more complete info on what we learned from her, you can listen back on the interview and check out my blog. One concrete place to start, even if it's a little historically out of order, is with the mine.
The mine?
Yeah, the mine. It might be helpful in figuring out where she exactly went off course.
No one knows where the mine is.
Enter the Peralta Stones.
Please stop inadvertently setting her up.
The stones are these flat slabs of rock, 20 inches or so across, carved over with crazy symbols. I won't go into those too much, but the names Pedro and Miguel were carved into them, leading many people to speculate they belong to Pedro and Miguel Peralta.
Minus the part where we have no proof the Peralta family existed in this area?
We've got documented.
No, we don't.
Maybe you should let her finish.
I'm our local cultural expert, right? And I can use Google too. The only known Peralta family wasn't even in this state.
Whether or not their stones are true, the fact of the matter is Rose thought they were. And that makes the treasure map on them, real or not, evidence as to where to find her. Thought so. Now, decoding the maps is boring, so I won't go into that.
That's what people are going to find boring about this?
But as we mentioned last time, Weaver's Needle does seem to be a magnetic spot in all this. It corresponds on the stone carvings and was famously mentioned by the Dutchman. From Weaver's Needle, you can see my mine. But from my mine, you cannot see Weaver's Needle.
Jesus, was he trying to write riddles for the Ravenclaw common room?
Based on the trail information, there's no actual trail that leads up to the needle, but that hasn't stopped people before.
So we think she went off trail?
I thought that was obvious from the whole missing thing.
I think she went as far as she could up Terrapin Trail and then went off. That means she was approaching the needle from the north and focuses in our search range a little to a specific trailheads in that direction. I also think it's possible she camped up there.
Why's that?
Because it's an 8-mile hike. If she didn't, she would have passed out, and she definitely knew that better than us.
So, just to recap, whether this hocus pocus is real or not, you think she went out there on a treasure hunt?
Yes, our last interview proved that, I think. Jen said she had like 3 books on it in her backpack last time she saw her. So we need to be looking at all of this from the context of the mine and past tragedies.
Amazing, Em. Really awesome. What do you think, guys?
It's a pretty good deduction. For sure the best lead.
Aw, bonding.
Shut up.
I think you two need to collaborate on this.
What am I supposed to do?
Not you. Morgan and Emily. I mean, this story is the perfect blend of legend affecting fact. Since Morgan is committed to playing devil's advocate, those two would work well together on this.
I'm down for it.
Sure.
Awesome.
Ding, ding, ding! I got some news, kids. We've just gotten our first iTunes review.
Really?
Yep. This one comes from 8Man23. Go 8.
What?
It's a video game.
What a username. Anyway, he writes, A pretty good start to the podcast. Google some of the stuff they were talking about. Really interesting. Keep it up, ladies. I'll be listening. Creepy, but overall pretty positive.
That's awesome. And if anyone out there listening wants to send in reviews or any messages to us, feel free. If we get enough, we could go through a mailbag segment.
Let us answer those hard-hitting questions. Pepsi or Coke? Would you rather? Yes, we're all single.
Anyway, Emily, Morgan, do you guys have any other stuff for us?
None from my end that wouldn't bore everyone to tears, but you can check out my breakdown of the evidence in my blog post today for some follow-up.
Morg?
Nothing really. Just that I hope someone who has access to help is listening. Narrowing the search could be a big deal.
My thoughts exactly.
Hey, yo, something else.
We're about to sign off.
Yeah, so I got an alert.
An alert?
Yeah, I get alerts for news stories containing certain keywords. Before this, it was just Kristen Stewart, but I added in some of this nonsense, and I just got a news update.
And...
Looks like Rose's bag, which one of her campers actually identified based on a pin he gave her on it, was found not far from Tortilla Mountain. The supplies in it were all gone, though. Empty bag.
Holy shit.
where does that put her geographically?
On my map here, that's just northeast of Weaver's Needle.
I will be goddamned. Why is all our shit missing?
I don't know. We're gonna find out, but this is huge. Emily was right. She was heading for Weaver's Needle from the north.
Well, it does seem that way.
Does Elefante want an I told you so? Because it seems fitting here.
Shut it.
No, let's just keep going. Morgan was right. It's a lead. I'll look into trying to get more info from her friends on why she'd be all the way up by Tortilla Flat. Morgan, see what you can find out about that area. Maybe anything to do with past hikers or the mine.
Since when are you in charge?
It's fine. Whatever. Yeah, I'll report back.
Awesome. Go team. Guys, we have been your Legends of the Superstitions team, and we're excited to have you on this journey with us. Tune back in to find out what we find out on this new development.